Hello everyone, and I know it's been about a week since my last video. I simply haven't really had anything to record or, want to play, to be honest. I've been playing WW2 First Light, but tonight I figured I would get back into Battlefield Vietnam and showcase Battlefield Vietnam World War II mod. Now this mod was officially released by DICE themselves, and I would kick things off in the best possible way by accidentally dying by falling off the boat, but we're going to quickly rectify that. So yeah, this is a mod that DICE themselves officially released at some point in 2004, which is impressive. They had the time to do all these new assets for 3 maps that are single player compatible and co-op compatible, in between working on Battlefield Vietnam's patches and then Battlefield 2. So I don't know how they managed to get the time to do it, but it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little mini mod. Again, as I said, not much in the way of content. It's more or less designed to sort of flex the engine upgrades compared to Battlefield 1942, but I still wanted to do a video on it tonight. But I'm only going to be focusing on the one map because this map reminded me the most of Battlefield 1943, and it reminded me of how much I still miss this game. 1943 was so much fun, and I would kind of love it if they somehow managed to get like a 4K 60 FPS thing for that, but that's a pipe dream, let's be real. That's never happening. But I was just thinking about how much fun that game was and its sheer simplicity, and how people would probably still play it to this very day if the service went shut down by EA, even though they probably cost like 2 cents per month to run. But in saying that, if they re-released it for modern consoles and made it run nice and all that, I reckon people would get bored pretty quickly because people want clown skins. People say they don't, but they definitely do. And I don't know how I blew that up with a gun, but, I'm taking full credit for that. That was all me. Ignore all the bots in the distance with their boats shooting at it. But, I didn't actually focus on vehicle gameplay when I last played Battlefield Vietnam. There is, as I said earlier in my last Battlefield Vietnam video, very little sort of in the way of infantry, or sorry, in terms of vehicular warfare. I mean, there's an obvious reason for that. It's mainly jungle. You can't really get vehicles, and the might of the imperialistic US war machine in a jungle. But, the vehicle combat in this game hasn't really changed that much from 1942. I did find it really funny how there's a lot of ragdolling still. Like, there's a lot of, people can, fly around and all that if you get hit. You'll see that coming up pretty shortly, actually. I'm surprised it didn't actually blow up the tank, but it only, did a little damage. So, whatever. I did try playing this last week with 255 bots, and I actually did intend to do a video on the map with 255 bots, but the pathfinding in this game is barely upgraded from 1942. Battlefield 2 is, significantly better in that regard, and, that much is obvious to see in the videos. Everything just kind of comes together nicely in those videos when I play single player, but in this game, they're not great. They're not great in 1942 either, as I just said, but yeah, it's unfortunate that they hadn't improved, because I just imagine playing these maps online would have been sheer chaos, because again, you have to storm the beachhead, and it would have been so good to just play this online back in the day. But just fuck it, just give me 1943 back, please. Just come on, someone can do it. Someone's surely done a community server for 1943 on the PS2 or PS2. Didn't come out on PS2 and PS3, but anyway, that's me ranting about 1943. Otherwise, yeah, it's very straightforward. I did find later on, I did play some Wake Island on the Imperial Japanese Army side, and a lot of their gear, a lot of the gear is Japanese gear from World War II, but a lot of it is German gear. Now, I'm pretty sure that is realistic to an extent, but in the Pacific, the Japanese only fought in the Pacific Theater, but I thought it was kind of weird, because I thought, I'm not a war historian by any means, but I don't recall them using the MP40 in the actual Pacific Theater. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be completely wrong, but I just thought it was just a weird oversight. It would have been cool to have, what was it, like the little side-mounted gun that they had, was it the Type 89 or something like that? I don't remember. It was in 1943, though, and I completely forgot about that. But yeah, otherwise, I haven't really been doing much. I've been gaming, and I've been doing my usual work/gym sort of thing, so that's why I just simply haven't recorded anything. Plus, as I said at the start of the video, it's not really been I've just not really been in the mood to. I just, wanted to take a little break, work things out. I've been playing WW2 First Light, and I would maybe get some footage on that, but as I found out, I am pretty bad at that game. I love the game. It's just Hitman Light with some Uncharted stuff sprinkled in there here and now, and I mean that very liberally, like it's just sprinkled very lightly. But yeah, I'm just bad at games at the moment. I guess I'm just kind of burning myself out a little bit. I'm tired a lot, so I'm just trying to get myself back into the space where I can relax and feel energized and enjoy things again. Because, yeah, I've definitely pushed myself very hard to get a lot of videos out there, and I've recognized in recent months that, or even in the last year or so, that I tend to really, when I really get in the rhythm of things, I tend to not want to slow down. I tend to want to just keep going at it over and over and over again. I did that with the gym. you know, there'd be days where I'd go to the gym like 5 days a week, and that wasn't great. You know, that's counterproductive to letting your body rest. Your body will, you know, you will be rewarded if you give yourself appropriate levels of rest. And I just kind of didn't do that, and thankfully I didn't end up hurting myself. I mean, I've had issues with my shoulder on and off for the last, what was my left shoulder for the last year and a bit also, but that seems to have, barring any jinxing that I may have done, because I've basically had no luck this year, so I've probably just jinxed myself. You know, hopefully I don't flare that up. But going back to the game here, you can see that I didn't realize that the vehicle health bar is very kind of out of sight, out of mind, but I did love the explosion effects. I think they've held up really well for a game that's like 22 years old. That's one thing that I feel 1942 and Vietnam did better than 2, was just that sort of like, you know, when vehicles explode, they explode, you know, and people can fly about, you know, when they get hit by projectiles that have an explosive radius. I mean, I guess they do in 2 if you throw C4 at people, but I mean, you know, you're only going to be using that if you're, excuse me, sorry, I got crap in my throat. You're only going to be doing that if you're going to be doing like I don't know, like a Battlefield 2 MLG montage or something like that. Was that a thing? I don't know. God, I still got gunk in my throat. Maybe that's why I haven't done videos in like a week, because I keep getting crap in my throat. But, I mean, that doesn't explain it when I was sick and I was doing the videos. But, hey, you know, just random shit happens when it does. And continuing in the theme of Battlefield 1942 and its many maps with its little secrets here or there. But I don't intend to spoil them, just because I would rather show you guys later on in the video where they are and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, you can download this mod pretty readily to this day. I believe it is, well, it's not hosted by EA themselves, because EA don't host anything that's not like 2 years old, because they just shut, you know, servers down for games that are like, you know, 3 years old. I mean, they are shutting down Hardline, which is like 11 years old, but, you know, it's still pretty shitty. Give us the option for community servers. But you can still download this on moddb.com. I will actually post a link to it. It is an executable, so if you don't have the game installed on a C drive, there may be some issues getting it on there. But then again, I've downloaded other 1942. I guess, actually, yeah, both 1942 and Vietnam mods. And those games don't necessarily have that weird, it's like some old PC games have like hard-coded restrictions that they have to be installed to the C drive. I don't get, that's just old Windows legacy things, but 1942 and Vietnam don't really have that, surprisingly. 2 almost certainly doesn't. I mean, you can run it without a registry key, for God's sake, provided you can install it on another computer. But yeah, it's still very much installable. Someone did on ModDB, I believe, extract the actual mod itself, so you can just like copy-paste the mods folder and just put it in there. But the installer still worked fine in my circumstance. I don't know, your mileage may vary. I'll still post a link up there anyway. And you can appreciate this cool little mod, because again, as I said at the start of the video, it's all 3 maps are completely playable in single player. With the aforementioned pathfinding though, I don't know how good of an experience you're going to have, but I mean, Iwo Jima was probably the best of the 3 maps, based off my experiences anyway. The invasion of the Philippines started off with aerial stuff from the AI, and playing Battlefield 1942 aerial stuff, the I mean, it'd be similar here. The opposing force, or sometimes the allied forces, would sometimes just crash into each other, and just, you know, like half the allied force or enemy force would just die randomly. So that kind of killed. I mean, I guess it's kind of realistic, you know, aviation accidents were very much a thing in World War II, so, you know, I guess it's historical accuracy. But it didn't make for good gameplay, so it just kind of made it a bit awkward. So this map is easily probably going to be the best experience you can have on co-op. And yeah, that's really about it in terms of this mod. It's a small one, thankfully, unlike some other mods that I've installed pretty recently. I was absolutely stunned at the size of the Battlefield 1942 mod, Forgotten Hope Secret Weapons, and I was completely stunned at how the AI just all kind of conglomerated together and decided to just spawn there, and actually a lot of them survived that tank shot somehow. I mean, I guess that's what Battlefield 2 did better, you know, a tank shot. No one would realistically survive a tank shot when they're all huddled together like that. If the game had realistic gore effects, I wouldn't be able to show you on YouTube. But yeah, it's just, yeah, again, there you go. They're all just like flying out. It's just bizarre. But, you know, I wouldn't have it any other way, you know. These games are, you know, goofy. I just wouldn't have it any other way. Anyway, yeah, I'm really rambling and I'm really tired, so don't mind the relatively low quality voiceover for this video. I mean, I don't think many people get this deep into the video anyway, but if you have made it this far in, thank you for watching. I do appreciate you hearing me ramble over frankly mediocre gameplay. It's pretty much what I've done since I've gotten back into this, isn't it? Oh well, I'll find something more to do. I'll feel pretty invigorated by the end of the week, I think. There's some... I like to think there's some good things coming. I've got to have something go right? I've had a pretty rubbish year. And as I said, the very first video back, that's partially why I wanted to get back into this, because I've wanted to go back to the past to go forwards. And that's actually worked. That's actually worked quite well. Except that I didn't play this game growing up, as I said in my previous Vietnam video, so that's kind of contradicting myself there. But one thing I loved is that the grenade gameplay just straight up hasn't changed. Like, the AI was just standing here, and I thought the grenades would be a bit more obvious as to where their arc would be, but evidently not. I think I did get a few kills there, but yeah, as you can see, it was kind of taking the piss at this point. 118 kills and 8 deaths. I mean, I guess it makes a good gameplay, but, you know, when everyone's just, you know, able to just die the way they are. This is a secret kit, though, which was really neat. There was one for the Imperial Japanese Army faction, but I don't know, the M2 flamethrower was more iconic, and it was used in Vietnam as well, so, you know, 2 for 2 really. I don't think they would have had to do much work to get this asset back into the game. And the flamethrower effect is pretty cool too. I mean, I guess, you know, they wouldn't have been able to do that back in the day, but it reminds me of, like, Far Cry 4, where the fire actually spreads. Like, that stuff's really cool, seeing that sort of thing in effect. It's very cool. But we're fast approaching the end of the battle, and luckily I did manage to get some flamethrower footage in there that was actually somewhat decent. Because, yeah, it turns out the flamethrower wasn't a very effective infantry. I mean, it was in close quarters, but it definitely wasn't very effective over open fields. Who would have thought, hey? And you combine it with a big gas tank on the back of you, and yeah, probably a lot of people who use these died. No surprises. Anyway, guys, that basically wraps up the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. I do apologize that it was a little bit more rambly, but I'll be planning to upload again soon. But I'll wrap it up there, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.